So the question is, what is the biggest mistake that a narcissist ever has made or ever will made? The answer to the question we need to understand by understanding the context of what a narcissist is and how he thinks. Now, what we understand is, speaking of the biggest mistake a narcissist will make, is he makes the mistake, or she makes the mistake repeatedly over and over and over again. Let's stop and think about the context of the narcissist. What is their perspective of the world? How is it that these people tend to see the world? How is it that they perceive reality? How is it that they perceive social interactions? Well, they tend to divide us, that is everybody, between two groups. There are the smart people and there are the dumb people. Now, I say two groups, those are the two extremes, and there is a spectrum in between. So some people are very smart, some people are very dumb, some people are a little bit smart, a little bit dumb, they're somewhere in between. Somewhere on the spectrum is everyone. That's the way the narcissist sees the world, and that's the only way they see the world. So the people on the one end are smart, and they also see them as savvy. So there you go. There's the spectrum again. One end are the people who are very savvy, and the other end are the people who are not very savvy, the people who are not smart. On the one end, there are those who are clever and socially, they call them players, people who are very good at manipulating and working the crowd, so to speak, in every sense of the word. And on the other end, there are those who just don't seem to have that aptitude. And the narcissist, they've got that perspective of the world, of humanity in general. And where do they put themselves on that spectrum? Well, they put themselves on the end of the savvy. They put themselves on the end of those who are very smart. They put themselves on the end of those who are great social players. They know the game, they know how to work it, and so they see themselves as, quite frankly, very superior to the rest of us, because the rest of us are on the other end of the spectrum somewhere. And those of us they perceive as being on the far end of the spectrum of being, kind of dumb, not being, just being gullible, being naive, which, by the way, some of us are. Those are people who they see as good candidates to be prey, P-R-E-Y, good candidates of people to take advantage of. So why did the narcissist even take advantage of you in the first place? That's why. Because he saw these other people as being, not as smart as him, but not totally weak as you. He saw other people as being not as savvy as him or her, and other people as being very, very savvy, but not quite up to par. But there are others who just totally, absolutely, positively gullible. And as I said earlier, in a sense, he or she is right, but there's, quite frankly, a lot more to the world as that. It's not all strong versus weak. There are these other factors that enter into the picture that the narcissist totally discounts because, well, he doesn't have them. What am I talking about? Empathy, effective empathy. He doesn't see empathy in the world because he doesn't have empathy. And he's a narcissist. She's a narcissist. How can other people have empathy? He or she doesn't have it. They've heard the word, right? They've heard about love. They've probably gone to the movies and watched or maybe read a novel and read or watched a love story. So, yeah, they get the idea. But to them, that's all just acting. It's not a real thing. And they assume everyone else is acting, so they're going to be a better actor. That's the way they see the world. That's the way they saw you. Now, that's kind of a love context, but there's also the friendship context, and there's a lot of different contexts where narcissists, operate. So now that we've got the context and we understand that these people don't have empathy, they do not understand what all of this is about, we need to understand that if we do put it in the context of a love situation, romantic situation, that they don't love you. They never did. And they don't believe you ever loved them because love doesn't exist. It's just a concept. It's just a perception that is not really there. It's an abstract. So, you don't love them. They don't love you. You're just kind of going through this motion of who is savvier than the other, and obviously you're more savvy than you. So they get to win. That's how it works. All right, so what is the biggest mistake that a narcissist will ever make? That he makes repeatedly, she makes repeatedly. It is this: because they do not understand love and because they do not understand empathy. When you truly, genuinely cared about them, when you genuinely loved that person, if it was a romantic relationship, when you honestly decided that this is a good guy and I got his back, if it's a friendship, they didn't relate to that, and so what they would do is they would, and this is the mistake, they would devalue you. They would put you down. And by the way, the narcissist, from his perspective, devalued you at the very beginning. The fact that he saw you as ideal prey, as the perfect victim. In his mind, that was devaluing you, and the fact that you fell for his scheme just kind of justified or verified his perception as being accurate. The fact that you were so manipulative, just the narcissist said, yeah, I got this guy right. Or, girl, whatever you are. But the biggest mistake a narcissist makes is there's somebody who truly cares about them, maybe even loves them, who is interested in their best interest, and they can just go ahead and devalue that person to the point of humiliating them, of the smear campaign, So you go through that initial stage. Everyone knows what this is all about, where they love bomb you, where they groom you, and you fall for that. The narcissist is thinking this guy is easy. This person is a piece of cake. And at the very end, they devalue you, and that ends with a smear campaign where the narcissist flips the story. You know how this goes. The narcissist flips the story, makes you out to be the bad guy, and the narcissist is the hero and the villain all wrapped into one, and you, not the hero and the villain, but the hero and the victim, and you are the villain. Biggest mistake they ever made, because all that does is it robs themselves of your love, of your friendship, of your support. All of that he loses out on. All of that she loses out on. Biggest mistake they make. And the really tragic thing about this is it seems they just can't not do that, because they just don't fully understand what they really don't understand what true compassion really is. They don't even acknowledge that it exists other than an abstract. And they do it over and over and over and over again. Stop and think about the narcissist who is in your life. I can think of the narcissist or narcissistic traits in people who have been in my life, those controllers. They can't get it. They just continually hurt themselves over and over by hurting the people who love them. Let's keep on talking about this if you want. There are two rectangles on the screen. The reason they are there is so that you can click on one of those two and the conversation will keep on going. But if not, then we thank you for stopping by and see you all next time.